Good evening, everyone. Welcome, everyone, and well zooming. Thank you very much once again to be with everyone, and most importantly, with the commitment to read and listen and reflect and bring our attention to the level of intelligence and wisdom of the path of purification's teachings, which we are reading through. As usual, we will do the prayers first, so try to include everyone and anything, situations where it warrants our good thoughts, prayers, whether for the living or the deceased or dying. We are always surrounded by those who are not coping well with becoming old and sick and dying and losing. They think they're losing some people. Actually, they're really losing their attachment, opportunity to lose their attachment. They think there's a loss. This shows one is very attached to things. You only experience loss if you attach to things. The practitioner deliberately tries to give up everything to experience gain, freedom. Ordinary childish people think they suffer loss or something. The realized beings deliberately try to get rid of things to become free, to gain freedom. So whether freedom is better or lack of it. This teaching will teach us how to have freedom from attachment rather than attachment to things, as without them we are deprived of our own freedom. So the teachings teaches us to see these things. So thank you once again. Let's do the prayers. Oyenda Buddha Dharma Sangha Aitere Yeden Lajenma Bhavache Ajehendala Aishare Badavatuve Endabo Tadarama Sangha Aitere Yeden Lajenma Bhavache Ajehendala Aishare Badavatuve Endabo Tadarama Sangha Aitere Yeden Lajenma Bhavache Ajehendala Aishare Badavatuve. May all beings have happiness and a cause of happiness. May they be free from suffering and a cause of suffering. May they know a power from happiness that knows no suffering. May they dwell in equanimity, free from attraction, aversion, those never. May all beings have happiness and cause of happiness. May they be free from suffering and a cause of suffering. May they know a power from happiness that knows no suffering. May they dwell in equanimity, free from attraction, aversion, those never. May all beings have happiness and a cause of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the cause of suffering. May they never part from the happiness that knows no suffering. May they dwell goodness to free from a judgment and to the net and fall. We do this prayer on page 9. Ego de dien teles agenda drama vil agrela agama Well, we are here to continue to read the Vishuddhimagga, the Path of Purification by Buddhagosha. We are on page chapter 12 and page 439, if you got the same book edition, section 119, which is on the subject of direct knowledge, which is like many yogic direct knowledge. Is this called yogic direct knowledge? Not ordinary people's direct knowledge, but yogic direct knowledge. Even as far as Brahma world, having made even the Brahma world the limit, he wields bodily mastery. Herein he wields self-mastery in the Brahma world by means of body. The meaning of this should be understood according to the text. Herein is the text. He wields bodily mastery even as far as Brahma world. If this possessor of supernormal power, having reached mental mastery, wants to go to Brahma world, though far he resolves upon nearness. Let it be near. It is near. Though near, he resolves upon farness. Let it be far. Though many, he resolves upon few. Let it be few. There are few. Though few, he resolved upon many. Let there be many. There are many. With the divine eye, he sees the fine material, visible forms of that Brahma. With the divine ear, he hears the voice of the Brahma. With the knowledge of penetration of minds, he understands the Brahma's mind. If this possessor of supernormal power, having reached the mental mastery, wants to go to the Brahma world, with a visible body, he converts his mind to accord with his body, resolve his mind to accord with his body. Having converted his mind to accord with his body, resolve his mind to accord with his body, he arrives at blissful, easy perception and light, quick perception, and he goes to Brahma world with a divine, with a visible body. With this possessor of supernormal power, having reached mental mastery, he wants to go to Brahma world with an invisible body. He converts the body to accord with his mind. He resolves his body to accord with his mind. Having converted his body to accord with his mind, resolve his body to accord with his mind, he arrives at blissful perception and a light, quick perception, and he goes to Brahma world with an invisible body. He creates a fine material visible form before the Brahma, a mind made of supernormal power, lacking no faculty. If that possessor of supernormal power walks up and down, the creation walks up and down there too. If that possessor of supernormal power sits, lies down, creation also lies down there too. If that possessor of supernormal power produces smoke, produces flames, preaches Dharma, asks a question, being asked a question answers, the creation being asked a question answers there too. If that possessor of supernormal normal power stands with that Brahma, converses, enters into communication with that Brahma, the creation stands with that Brahma, there too, converses, enters into communication with that Brahma there too. Whatever that possessor of supernormal power does, the creation does the same thing. 120. Therein, though far, he resolves upon nearness, having emerged from basic jhana, he adverts to a far-off divine world and to the Brahma world, thus let it be near. Having adverted to the Brahma world, thus let it be near. Having adverted and done to the primitive world preliminary work, he attends again and then resolves with knowledge of let it be near. He becomes near. The same method of explanation applies to other clauses too. Herein he has taken what was far and made it near. The Blessed One, for when the Blessed One was going to divine world after twin miracle, he made Yugandhara and Sumeru near. And from the earth's surface he sets one foot to Yugandhara, and then he sets the other on the summit of Sumeru. Who else has done it? The elder Moggallana. For when the elder was leaving Sravasti after completing the meal, he abridged the 12 leagues crowd and 30 leagues road to the city of Sankasa and arrived at the same moment. Furthermore, 123. Furthermore, elder Chula Samadda did it well, Tammapani Island, during a time of scarcity. It seems 700 bhikshus came to elder one morning. The elder thought, where can a large community of bhikshus wander for alms? He saw nowhere at all the Tammapani Island, but he saw that it would be possible on the other shore of Pataliputra. He got the bhikshus to take their bowls and outer robes, and he said, Come, friends, let us go wandering for alms. Then he abridged the earth and went to Pataliputra. Bhikshu asked, What is the city, Venerable Sir? It is Pataliputra, friends. Pataliputra is far away, Venerable Sir. Friends, experienced elders make what is far, near, and where is the ocean, Venerable Sir? Friends, did you not cross a blue stream on the way as you came? Yes, Venerable Sir, but the ocean is vast. Friends, experienced elders also make what is vast small. And Elder Tisadatta did likewise when he had put on his upper robes after bathing in the evening, and he thought of paying homage to the great enlightened tree arose in him. When who has taken what is near and made it far? The Blessed One, for although Angulimala was near to the Blessed One, yet he made him far distance. Who has made them such much little? Who has made much little? Elder Mahakassapa, on one feast day in Rajgriha, it seems, there were 500 girls on their way to enjoy the festival, and they had taken moon cakes with them. They saw the Blessed One, but gave him nothing. On their way back, however, they saw the elder, thinking he is our elder. They each took a cake and approached the elder. The elder took out his bowl and made a single bowlful of them all. The Blessed One had sat down first to wait the elder. Elder brought them and gave them to the elder Blessed One. 127. In the story of the rich man Elisa, however, the elder Mahamoggallana made little much, and in the story of Kakavaliya, the Blessed One did so. The elder Mahakassapa, it seems, after spending 7 days in attainment, stood at the house door of a man in poor circumstances called Kakavaliya in order to show favor to the poor. His wife saw the elder, and she poured into his bowl the unsalted sour gruel that she cooked for her husband. The elder took it and placed it in the Blessed One's hand. The Blessed One resolved to make it enough for the greater community of Sanghas, bhikkhus, who was brought in a single bowl, became enough for all. And on the seventh day, Kakalavilya became a rich man. 128. And not only in the case of making little much, but whatever the possessor of Supernova power wishes, whether to make sweet, unsweet, or the unsweet sweet, or is successful for him. For so it was that when the elder Mahanula saw many bhikshus sitting on the banks of the river Ganges, eating plain rice, which was all that they had got after doing their alms round, he resolved, let Ganges river water be cream of ghee. And he gave a sign to the novices. They fetched in their vessels and gave it to the community of bhikshus. All of them ate their meal with sweet cream of ghee. 129. With the divine eye remaining here and extending night, he sees the visible form of that Brahma. After remaining here, he also hears the sound of his speech, and he understands his mind. 130. He converts his mind according to his body. He converts the mind to accord with the material body, taking the consciousness of the basic jhana. He mounts it upon the body. He makes it going slow to coincide with that of the body, for the body's mode of going is slow. 131. He arrives at blissful perception and light perception. He enters, makes contact with, reaches the perception of bliss and a perception of lightness that are connaissance with the consciousness whose object is the basic jhana. And it is perception associated with equanimity that is called perception of bliss, and equanimity is called bliss since it is peaceful. And the same perception should be understood to be called perception of lightness, too, because it is liberated from hindrances and from the things that oppose it. Beginning is applied thought. But when he arrives at the state, his physical body too becomes as light as a rough tuft of cotton. He goes to the Brahma world, thus with the visible body, as light as tuft of cotton wafted by wind. 132. As he goes thus, if he wishes, he creates a path in space by means of earth kachina and goes on foot. If he wishes, he resolves by means of air kachina that there shall be air, and he goes by air like a tuft of cotton. Well, moreover, the desire to go is the measure here. When there is no the desire to go, one who has made him his mental resolve in this way goes visibly, carried by the force of the resolution like arrow shot by an archer. 133. He converts his body to accord with his mind. He takes the body and he mounts it on the mind. He makes it going swift and coincide with that of the mind, for the mind mode of going is swift. He arrives at the blissful perception and light perception. He arrives at perception of bliss and perception lightness that are connaissance with the supernormal power consciousness whose object is material body. The rest should be understood in the way already described. But here there is only the going of consciousness. 134. When it was asked, when he goes with an invisible body thus, does he go at the moment of the resolution consciousness is arising, or at the time of the presence, or at the moment of its dissolution? And Alra replied, he goes in all three moments. But does he go himself, or does he send a creation? He does as he pleases, but here is only going himself that has been given in the text. 135. Mind made because created by the mind in resolution, lacking no faculty. These refers to the shape of eye, ear, etc. But there is no sensitivity in a created visible form. If the possessor of supernormal power walks up and down, and creation walks up and down, there too, etc. All refers to what a disciple creates, but what the Blessed One creates does whatever Blessed One does, and it also does other things according to Blessed One's pleasure. 136. When these possessor of supernormal power, Remaining here sees a visible object with the divine eye, hears a sound with the divine ear element, knows consciousness with the penetration of mind. He does not wield bodily power in doing that. And while remaining here, he stands with that Brahma, converses, enters into communication. With that Brahma, he does not wield bodily power in doing that. And when he makes his resolve described in the way beginning so far, he resolves upon nearness. He does not wield bodily power in in doing that, and he goes to the Brahma world with a visible or invisible body. He does not wield bodily power in doing that. But when he enters upon the process described in that way, beginning, he creates a visible form before the Brahma, mind-made, and he wields bodily power in doing that. The rest, however, is said here for the purpose of showing the stage prior to the wielding of the bodily power. This, firstly, is one, success by resolve. The difference between two, success as transformation, and three, success as the mind-made body as follows. Two, one firstly who performs the transformation should resolve upon whatever he chooses from among the things, beginning with the appearance of a boy described as follows. He abandons his normal appearance and shows the appearance of a boy, or the appearance of a naga, or the appearance of a winged demon, or appearance of a demon, or the appearance of a god, Indra, or appearance of some other sensual sphere deity, or the appearance of Brahma, or the appearance of the sea, or the appearance of a rock, or the appearance of a lion, or the appearance of a tiger, or the appearance of a leopard, or he shows an elephant, or he shows a horse, or he shows a chariot, or he shows a foot soldier, or she shows a manifold military array. 138. And when he resolve, he should emerge from the fourth jhana, that is basis of the direct knowledge, and has thus one of the things beginning with the earth kachina as its object, and he should advert to his own appearance as a boy. After adverting and finishing the preliminary work, he should again and again emerge, and he should resolve, thus, let me be a boy of such and such type. Simultaneously with the resolved consciousness, he becomes the boy, just as the Devadatta did. This is the method in all instances. But he shows an elephant, etc., is said here with respect to showing an elephant, etc., externally. Herein, instead of resolving, let me be an elephant, he resolved, let there be an elephant. Same method applies in the case of the horse and the rest. This is success of transformation. 3. One who wants to make the mind-made body should emerge from the basic jhana and first advert the body in the way already described, and then he should resolve, let it be hollow. It becomes hollow. When he adverts to another body inside, and having done the preliminary work in the way already described, he resolves, let there be another body inside. Then he draws it out like a reed from its sheath, like a sword from its scabbard, like a snake from its slough. Hence it is said, here a bhikshu creates from his body another body, possessing visible form, mind-made, with all its limits lacking no faculty. Just as though a man pulled out a reed from its sheath and thought thus, this is the sheath, this is the reed, this sheath is one, this reed is another. It was from the sheath that the reed was pulled out, and so on. And here, just as the reed, etc., are similar to the sheath, etc., so to the mind-made visible form is similar to the possessor of supernormal power, and this simile is given in order to show that this is success as the mind-made body. The 12th chapter called Description of Supernormal Power in the Path of Purification, composed for the purpose of gladdening good people. Chapter 13, Description of Direct Knowledge, Conclusion, the Divine Ear Element, 407. It is now the turn for the description of Divine Ear Element. Herein also, and also in the case of remaining three kinds of direct knowledges, the meaning of passage beginning with his concentration mind should be understood in the way already stated. And each verse, each case, we shall only comment on what is different. The text is as follows. He inclines his mind to the divine ear element. With the divine ear element, which is purified and surpasses the human, he hears all kinds of sounds, divine and human, those that are near as well as far. 2. Herein, with the divine ear element, it is divine here because it is because of similarity to the divine. For deities have us the divine ear element in the sensitivity that is produced by karma consisting in good conduct and is unimpeded by ba, fame, blood, etc., and capable of receiving an object even though far off because it is liberated from the imperfection. And this ear element consisting in knowledge, which is produced by the power of this bhikshu energy development, is similar to that which it is divine because it is similar to the divine. Furthermore, it is divine because it is obtained by means of divine abiding and because it has divine abiding as its support. And it is an ear element, sota dhatu, in the sense of hearing savana, in the sense of being soulless element. Also, it is an ear element because it is like the ear element in its performance of an ear element's function with that divine ear element, which is purified, which is quite pure through having no imperfection, and surpasses the human, which is the hearing of sounds, stands beyond the human ear element by surpassing the human environment. 3. He hears both kinds of sounds. He hears the two kinds of sounds. What two? Divine and human. The sounds of deities and human beings is what is meant. This should be understood as partially inclusive. Those that are as far as well as near. What is meant here is that he hears sounds that are far off, even in the another world sphere, and those that are near, even the sounds of creatures living in the even one's own body. This should be understood as completely inclusive. 4. But how is this divine ear element aroused? The bhikshus should attain jhana on the basis of the direct knowledge and emerge. Then with the consciousness belonging to the preliminary work concentration, he should advert first to the gross sounds in distance normally within the range of hearing. Sound in the forest of the lions, etc., or in the monastery, the sound of a gong, the sound of a drum, sound of a conch, sound of a recitation by novices and young bhikshus reciting with full vigor, the sound of their ordinary talk, such as "What is Venerable Sir?" "What's French?" etc., sound of birds, sound of wind, sound of footsteps, fizzing sound of boiling water, the sound of palm leaves drying in the sun, the sound of ants, and so on, beginning in this way, with quite gross sounds. He should successively advert to more and more subtle sounds. He should give attention to the sounds of eastern direction, in the western direction, in the northern direction, in the southern direction, in the upper direction, in the lower direction, in the eastern intermediate direction, in the western intermediate direction, northern intermediate direction, and the southern intermediate direction. He should give attention to the sign of gross and subtle sounds. 5. These sounds are evident even in his normal consciousness, but they are especially evident to his preliminary work concentration consciousness, as he gives his attention to the sounds sign in this way, thinking now the divine ear element will arise, mind door adverting arises, making one of these sounds its object. When that has ceased, then either 4 or 5 impulsions impel, the first 3 or 4 of which are of the sense sphere and are called preliminary work. Access, conformity, and change of lineage, while the 4th or the 5th, the fine material sphere absorption consciousness belonging to the fourth jhana. 6. Here it is knowledge arisen together with absorption or consciousness that is called the divine ear element. After that absorption has reached, the divine ear element becomes merged with the ear of knowledge. When consolidating it, he should extend it by delimiting a single finger breadth. Thus, I will hear sounds within this area. Then 2 finger widths, 4 finger width, 8 finger width, a span, a ratana, 24 finger breadth, the interior of a room, the veranda, the building, the surrounding of the walk, the park belonging to the community, the alms resort, the village, the district, and so on, of the limit of the world sphere, or even more. This is how he should extend it by delimited stages. 7. One who reached direct knowledge in this way hears also by means of direct knowledge, without entering the basic jhana, any sound that has come within the sphere touched by the basic jhana object. And in hearing in this way, even if there is an uproar with the sound of conscious drums, cymbals, etc., right up to the Brahma world, he can, if he wants to, still define each one. Thus, this is the sound of conch, this is the sound of drums. This explanation, divine ear element, is ended. 3. Penetration of minds. 8. As to the explanation of the knowledge of the penetration of mind, the text as follows: that he inclines, he minds to the knowledge of the penetration of minds. He penetrates with the mind and the mind of other beings, the other persons, and understand them. Thus, he understands other persons and understand them. He understands the manner of consciousness affected by greed as affected by greed. He understands the manner of consciousness unaffected by greed as unaffected by greed. He understands consciousness affected by hate as affected by hate. He and consciousness unaffected hate as unaffected by hate. He understands consciousness affected by delusion as affected by delusion, and the consciousness unaffected by delusion as unaffected by delusion. He understands cramped consciousness as a cramped, and distracted consciousness as distracted. He understands exalted consciousness as exalted, and unexalted consciousness as unexalted. He understands surpassed consciousness as surpassed, and unsurpassed consciousness as unsurpassed. He understands concentrated consciousness and concentrated and unconcentrated consciousness as unconcentrated consciousness. He understands the liberated manner of consciousness as liberated, and unliberated manner of consciousness unliberated. Here it goes all round. Thus it is penetration. The meaning is that it delimits. The penetration of the heart is penetration of minds. It is penetration of hearts, and that is the knowledge, and that it is this knowledge of penetration of minds. He directs his consciousness to that what he meant. Of other beings, of the rest of beings, himself excluded, of other persons, this has the same meaning as that last, the wording being varied to suit those susceptible of teaching in another way, and the sake of the elegance of exposition, with his mind and minds, with this manner of consciousness and the manner of consciousness of other beings, having penetrated, having delimited all round. He understands them to be various sorts, beginning with affected by greed. But how is this knowledge to be aroused? That is successfully done through the divine eye, which constitutes its preliminary work. Therefore, bhikshu should extend light and should seek out another's consciousness by keeping under observation with divine eye the color of the blood present with the matter of the physical heart as its support. For when a manner of consciousness accompanied by joy is present, the blood is red like banyan, fig fruit. When the manner of consciousness accompanied by grief is present, it's blackish like rose apple fruit. When a manner of consciousness accompanied by serenity is present, it is clear like a sesame oil. So he should seek out another's manner of consciousness by keeping under observation the color of the blood in the physical heart. Thus, this matter is originated by way of joy faculty. This is originated by the grief faculty. This is originated by equanimity faculty, and so consolidate his knowledge of penetration of heart. Number 10, it is when it has been consolidated in this way that he can gradually get to understand not only all manner of of sense conscious sphere consciousness, but those of the fine material and immaterial consciousness as well, by tracing one manner of consciousness from another without any more seeing the physical heart's matter. For this is said in the commentary. When he wants to know another manner of consciousness in the immaterial world, immaterial moods, whose physical heart can be observed, whose material alteration originated by the faculties can he look at? No one's. The province of a possessive supernormal power is simply this, namely, wherever the manner of consciousness he adveres to it, to ease, there he knows it according to these 16 classes. But this explanation by means of physical heart is for one who has not yet done any interpreting. 11. As regards the manner of consciousness affected by greed, etc., that manner of consciousness accompanied by greed should be understood as the manner of consciousness affected by greed. The remaining profitable and indeterminate manner of consciousness in the four planes is unaffected by greed. The four, namely the two unconsciousness accompanied by grief, and the two consciousness accompanied respectively by uncertainty and agitation, are not included in this diet, though some elders include them too. It is the two consciousnesses accompanied by grief that are called consciousness affected by hate, and all the profitable and indeterminate consciousness in the four places are unaffected by hate. The remaining 10 kinds of profitable consciousnesses and are not included in this diet, though some elders include them there too. Affected by delusion, unaffected by delusion. Here only the two, namely that accompanied by uncertainty and accompanied by agitation, are affected by delusion, simplicity, without being accompanied by the other two unprofitable brutes. But all the 12 kinds of unprofitable consciousness, number 22 to 33, can also be understood as the manner of consciousness affected by delusion, since delusion is present in all kinds of unprofitable consciousness. The rest are unaffected by delusion. 12. Cramped is that attended by stiffness and torpor. Distracted is that attended by agitation. Exalted is that of the fine material and immaterial sphere. Unexalted is the rest. Unsurpassed is all that is the three mundane planes. Unsurpassed is the supermundane. Unconcentrated is the attained to access that attained to absorption. Unconcentrated is that not attained by either. Liberated is that attained by any of the 5 kinds of deliverance, that is to say, deliverance by the substitution of opposites, though through insight, by suppression through concentration, by cutting off by means of the path, by tranquilization by means of fruition, and by renunciation as nibbana, under abandoning unliberated, is that which is not attained to any of the 5 kinds of liberation. So the bhikshu who has acquired the knowledge of penetration of hearts understand all these manners of consciousness, namely manner of consciousness affected by greed as affected by greed, unliberated manner of consciousness as unliberated. 4. Recollection of past life. 13. As to the explanation of knowledge or recollection of past life, the text is as follows. He inclines his mind to the knowledge of the recollection of past life. He recollects his manifold past life, that is to say, 1 birth, 2 births, 3 births, 4 births, 5 births, 10 births, 20 births, 30 births, 40 births, 50 births, and 100 births, and 1,000 births, and 1,000, 100,000 births. Many eons of world contraction, many eons of world expansion, many eons of world contraction and expansion. And there I was so named, of such and such race, with such and such appearance, such was my food, such my experience of pleasure and pain, such the end of my life span, passing away from there, I reappear elsewhere, and there too I was so named, of such a place, such a race, with such appearance, with such was my food, such my experience of pleasure and pain, such the end of my lifespan, and passing away from there, I reappeared here. Thus, with its aspects of particulars, he recollects his manifold past life. Herein, to the knowledge of the recollection of past life means for knowledge concerning recollection of past life. Past life is aggregate lived in the past in former lives. Lived in the case means lived out, undergone, arisen, ceased in one's own subjective continuity, or alternatively, past life is mental objects lived in the past in the former rebirth, and lived in that case means lived by living in one's object sense resort, which has been cognized and delimited by one's own consciousness, or cognized by another's consciousness too. In the case of recollection of those past life enlightened ones who have broken the cycle and so on, the last are only accessible to enlightened ones. Recollection of past life, the mindfulness memory by means of which he recollects the past life, is the recollection of past life. Knowledge is the knowledge associated with past mindfulness. To the knowledge of recollection of past life, for the purpose of knowledge of the recollection of past life in the way, for the attaining the teaching of that knowledge is what is meant. Manifold of many kinds, or thus has occurred in many ways, given in detail is the meaning. Past life is continuity lived here and there, taking the immediately previous existence as the beginning, or working backwards. He recalls it, following it out by succession of aggregates, or by death and rebirth linking. There are 6 kinds of people who recollect past life. There are other sectarians, ordinary disciples, great disciples, chief disciples, Prateka Buddhas, and Buddhas. Herein, other sectarians recollect only as far back as 40 eons, but not beyond that. Why? Because their understanding is weak for lack of delimitation of mind and matter. Ordinary disciples recollect as far as 100 eons, or as far as 1,000 eons, because their understanding is strong. The 80 great disciples recollect as far back as 100,000 eons. The two chief disciples recollect as far back as an incalculable age and 100,000 eons. Pratyeka Buddha recollect as far back as two incalculable ages and 2,000 eons. For such is the extent to which they can convey their minds back respectively. But there is no limit to in the case of the Buddhas. Again, 17. Again, other sectarians only recollect the succession of aggregates, but are unable to recollect accordingly to death or rethinking, letting go of the succession of aggregates. They are like the blind, in that they are unable to descend upon one place they choose. They go as blind do without letting go of the sticks. So they recollect without letting go of the succession of aggregates. The ordinary disciples both recollect by means of the succession of aggregates and trace by means of death and rebirth linking. Likewise, the 80 great disciples. But the chief disciples have nothing to do with the succession of aggregates. When they see the death of one person, they see the death rebirth linking, and again, when they see the death of another, they see the rebirth linking. So they go by tracing through death and rebirth linking. Likewise, Pratyeka Buddhas. Buddhas, however, having nothing to do either with the succession of aggregates or with the tracing through death and rebirth linking, for whatever is instance they choose in many millions or eons, or more or less, is evident to them. So they go, and so they descend with the lion's descent wherever they want, even skipping over many millions of eons, as though they were an illusion in the text. And just as an arrow shot by such a master of archery, expert in the hair-splitting as a Sarabanga, always hit the target without getting held up among trees, creepers, etc., on its way, and so neither gets held up nor misses. So too, since Buddhas go in the way their knowledge does not get held up in the intermediate birth, or miss without getting held up or missing, it seizes any distance required. Among those beings with the recollection of past life, the sectarian's vision of past life seemed like the light of a glowing worm that of ordinary disciple like that of a light of a candle, and that of the great disciple like a light of a torch, that of the chief disciple like that of a morning star, that of the Pratyeka Buddha like that of the moon, and that of the Buddha like the glorious autumn sun's disk with its 1,000 rays. Other sectarians see past life as blind men go tapping with the point of his stick. Ordinary disciples do so as men who go on a log bridge. The great disciple do so as men go on a fruit bridge. The chief disciple do so as men go on a cart bridge. Pratyeka Buddhas do so as men go on the main footpath, and Buddhas do so as men go on the high road with 4 carts. 21. In this connection, it is disciples' recollection of past life that is intended. Hence, it is said above, he recollects, following it out by succession of aggregates or by death and rebirth linking. 22. So, a bhikshu who is a beginner and wants to recollect in this way should go into solitary retreat and return from his alms and round after meal. Then he should attain the 4th jhanas in succession, emerge from the 4th jhana as basis for his direct knowledge. He should then and advert to his most recent act of sitting down for their purpose. Next, on the preparation of the seat for the entry to the lodging, and to the putting away of the bowl and robe, and to the outer time of eating, to the time of returning to the village, to the time of wandering for alms in the village, for the time of entering the village, to the time of setting out from the monastery, to the time of paying homage to the shrine terrace, etc., and enlightened tree terrace, and to the time of washing the bowl, to the time of packing up the bowl, to the time of things done from the time of picking up the bowl, to the mouth washing, to the things done early morning, to the things done in the middle, in the first watch. In this way, he should advert all the things done during the whole night and the day in the reverse order. That's a good training, I think. While this much, however, is evident even to his normal consciousness, it is especially evident to his preliminary work, consciousness. But if anything there is not evident, he should again attain the basic jhana, emerge, and advert. By so doing, he becomes as evident as when a lamp is lit. And so, in reverse order, he should advert to the things done in the second day break, and the third, the fourth, the fifth, and in the 10 days, and the fortnight, and as far as a year. When by means he adverts to 10 years, 20 years, and so on, as far back as his own rebirth linking in his existence, he should advert to the mentality and materiality occurring at the moment of death in the preceding existence. For a wise bhikshu is able to first attempt to move to the rebirth linking and make the mentality materially at the death moment his object. But the mentality materiality in the previous existence has ceased without remainder, and another has arisen, and consequently that instance is as it were shut away in darkness, and it is hard for one of little understanding to see it. Still, he should not give up the task, thinking I am unable to move the rebirth linking and make the mentality materiality that occurred as death moment my object. On the contrary, he should again and again attain the same basic jhana, and each time he emerges, he should advert to that instance. 26. Just as when a strong man is felling a big tree for the purpose of making a peak of the gable, but is unable to fell the big tree with an axe blade blunted by lopping the branches and foliage, still he does not give up the task. On the contrary, he goes to a smithy and has his axe sharpened, after which he returns and continues chopping the tree. When the axe again gets blunt, he does as before and continues chopping it. And as he goes on chopping in this way, the tree falls at length, because each time there is no need to chop again that has already been chopped, and what has not yet been chopped gets chopped. So too, when he emerges from the basic jhana, instead of adverting to what he has already adverted he should advert only to the rebirth linking, and at length he removes the rebirth linking and makes the mentality materiality that occurred at the death moment his object. And this meaning should also be illustrated by means of the woodcutter and the hair cutter as well. In 27, herein the knowledge that occurs making its object the period from the last setting down for this purpose back to the rebirth linking is not called knowledge of recollection of past life, but is called preliminary work concentration knowledge, and some call it knowledge of the past, but that is inappropriate to the fine material sphere. However, When this bhikshu has got back beyond the rebirth linking, there arises in him mind doer adverting, making its object the mentality and materiality that occurred at the basic death moment. And when that has ceased, then either 4 or 5 impulsion impel, making that their object too. The first of these, called preliminary work, etc., in the way already described, are of the sense sphere. The last is fine material absorption, consciousness of the jhana. The knowledge that arises in him, then together with that consciousness, that what is called knowledge of recollection of past life. It is with the mindfulness memory associated with that knowledge that he recollects he has manifold past life. That is to say, 1 birth, 2 births, thus with details and particulars he recollects his manifold past life. 28. Here in 1 birth is continuity of aggregates included in a single becoming, starting with rebirth linking and ending up with death. So too with 2 births and the rest. But in this case of many eons of world contraction, etc., it should be understood that the eon of world contraction is an eon of diminution, and eon of world expansion is eon of increase. Herein, what supersedes the contraction is included in the contraction, since it is rooted in it, and so too what supersedes the expansion is included in the expansion. This being so, it includes what is stated. Thus, bhikshu, there are 4 incalculable of the eons. What 4? The contraction that supersedes the contraction, the expansion, and that which supersedes the expansion. Herein, there are 3 kinds of contraction: contraction due to water, contraction due to fire, and contraction due to air. Also, there are 3 limits of contraction: the abhasara, the stream radiance, Brahma world, that is of the subhakangha, refulgent glory, and that of the great fruit. When the action contracting coming to fire, or below the babamsha is burnt up by fire. When the contraction owing to the water, it is all dissolved by water to the Brahma world. When contraction owing to the air, it is all demolished by wind to the Brahma world. 431. In breath, it is always one of the Buddha fields that is destroyed. For the Buddha fields are 3, that is the field of birth, the field of authority, and field of scope. Herein, the field of birth is limited by the 10,000 world spheres that quacked on the perfect ones taking rebirth, linking, and so on. The field of authority is limited by the 100,000 million world spheres where the following safeguards are efficacious. That is the Ratana Sutta, the Khandava and the Jagapatita, Anattadiya Parita, and the Mora Parita. The field of scope is boundless, immeasurable, as far as wishes, it is said. The perfect one who knows everything, anything, anywhere that he wishes. So, one is of these 3 Buddha fields, that is to say, the field of authority is destroyed. But when that is being destroyed, the field of birth also gets destroyed. And that happens simultaneously when it is reconstituted, and that happens simultaneously. 32. Now it should be understood how its destruction and reconstitution come about thus. On the occasion when the eon is destroyed by fire, first of all a great cloud heralding the eon's destruction appears, and there is a great downpour all over the 100,000 million world spheres. People are delighted, and they bring out all the seeds and sow them. When the sprouts have grown enough for an ox to graze, then not a drop of water falls anymore, even when an ass's bray. The rain is withheld from then onwards. That is what the Blessed One referred to when he said, "Bhikshus, an occasion comes when for many eons, for many hundred years, for many thousand years, for many hundred eons, there is no rain. Being that live in rain die and are reborn in the Brahma world, so are the deities that lives on the flowers and fruits." 33. When a long period has passed in this way, the water gives out here and there. Then in due course, the fishes and turtles die and are reborn in the Brahma world, and so forth are beings in hell. Some say that the denizens of the hell perish there with the appearance of the seventh sun. Now, there is no birth in the Brahma world without jhana, and some of them therein, being obsessed with the scarcity of the food, are unable to attain jhana, and how are they reborn there? By means of jhana retained in the sense sphere, the divine world, for then the sense sphere deities called world marshal, deities come to know that at the end of the 100,000 years, there will be the emergence of an eon. Then they travel up and down the haunts of man, the hanuts, is it? The haunts of man, their heads bared and their hair disheveled, with pietous faces, mopping their tears with their hands, clothed in dyed cloth, and wearing their dress in great disorder. They make this announcement: "Good sir, at the end of 100,000 years from now, there will be the emergence of an eon. This world will be destroyed. From the ocean will dry up. The great earth, the Mount Sumerian mountains will be consumed and destroyed. The destruction of earth will extend, and as far as the Brahma world, develop loving kindness and good sirs, develop compassion, gladness, equanimity, good sirs, care for your mothers, care for your fathers, honor the elders of your clans." When human beings and earth deities hear the words, they mostly are filled with sense of urgency. They become kind to each other and make merit with loving kindness, etc. And so they are reborn in the divine world. There they eat divine food and they do the preliminary work on their kachina and acquire jhana. Others, however, are born in the sense sphere, divine world through karma to be experienced in the future life. For there is no being traversing the round of rebirth who is destitute of karma to be experienced in a future life, are eventually born in the Brahma world by acquiring jhana in a sense sphere divine world in that way. However, all the end of the long period after beholding the rain, the sun, the second sun appears, and this is described by the Blessed One in the way beginning. Bhikshus, there is the occasion when, and Sattasuriya Sutta shall be given in full. When that has appeared, there is no more telling might from day. When the sun sets the other races, the world is uninterruptedly scorched quenched by the suns. But there is no sun deity in the eon destruction sun as there is ordinary sun. Now, when the ordinary sun is present, 100 clouds and mare's tails vapors cross the skies. But when the eon destruction sun is present, the sky is blank as the disk of a looking glass and destitute of clouds and vapor. Beginning with the rivulets and water in all the rivers except the 5 great rivers dries up. After that, the end of the long period, third sun appears, and when that has appeared, the great rivers dry up too. After that, the end of the long period, fourth sun appears, and when that has appeared, 7 great lakes, Himalayas, the source of the great rivers dry up. That is to say, the Sila Patata, and Hamsa Patana, and Hankana Mugdutta, Ratakara, Anotaka, Chadanta, and Kunala. After that, and the end of a long period, fifth sun appears, and when that appears, there eventually comes to be not enough water left in the great ocean to wet one's finger joint. After that, at the end of a long period, 66th sun appears, and when this has appeared, the whole world sphere becomes nothing but vapor. All its moisture being evaporated. All the 100,000 million world spheres are the same as this one. After this, at the end of the long period, seventh sun appears. When that has appeared, the whole world sphere, together with 100,000 million world spheres, catches fire. Even the summit of Mount Sumeru, 100 leagues and more high, crumble and vanish into space. The conflagration mounts up and invades the realm of 4 kings. When it has burned up all the golden palaces, jewel palaces, crystal palaces, there it invades the realm of the 33. And so it goes right up to the plane of the first jhana. When it has burned the 3 lower Brahma worlds, it stops there at the Abhasara world. As long as any formed being's formation the size of atoms still exists, it does not go out. But it goes out when all formed things have been consumed. And like the flame that turns ghee and oil, it leaves no ash. 42. The upper sphere is now all one with the lower space in a vast gloomy darkness. Then at the end of the long period of great clouds arises, and at first it rains gently, then it rains with heavier deluges, like lotus stems, like rods, like pestles, like palm trunks, more and more. And so it pours down all the burnt areas of 100,000 million world spheres till they disappear. Then the winds beneath the all-round water rises up, compact with it around it, like water drops on a lotus leaf. How do they compact the great mass of water? By making gaps for the wind, makes gaps in here and there. Being thus compressed by the air, compacted and reduced, it gradually subsides and it sinks. Lower Brahma world reappears in its place. Divine world reappears in the place of the 4 upper realms of the sensual door. Sphere. But when it sinks to the former firm earth level, strong winds rises, and these stop it and hold it stationary, like the water in a water pot, and when the outlet is plugged. As the fresh water gets used up, the essential humus mask its appearance on it. That possesses color, smell, taste, like the surface film of the rice milk when when it dries up. 44. When the beings that were reborn first in the Brahma world of streaming radiance fall from there with the exhaustion of their lifespan, or when their merit is exhausted, they reappear here. They are self-luminous and wander in the sky. On eating the essential humus, as is told in the Agata Sutra, they are overcome by craving, and they busy themselves in making lumps of it to eat. Then their self-luminous vanishes, and it is dark. They are frightened when they see the darkness. 45. Then, in order to remove their fears and give them courage, the sun disk appear full mighty leagues across. 50 leagues across. They are delighted to see it, thinking we have light. Then they say it has appeared in order to allay our fears, give us courage, so let it be called sun. So they give it the name sun, Surya. Now when the sun has given light for a day, it sets. Then they are frightened again, thinking we have lost the light we had. They think, how good if we had another light. 46. As if knowing their thought, the moon's disk appears. The 49 leagues across. On seeing it, they are still more delighted, and they say it has appeared stemming as if it knew our desire. So it be called Moon Chanda. So so they give the name Moon. 47. After the appearance of moon and sun in this way, the stars appears and the constellation. After that, night and day are made known, and the day in due course, a month and a half, a month and a season and a year. On the day the moon and sun appear, the mountains of Sumeru of the world sphere and the Himalaya appear too. But they appear on the full moon day, and full moon day of the month of Paguna, March, neither before nor after. How? Just as when millet is cooking and bubbles arise, then simultaneously some parts are done, domes, some hollow and some flat, and so too there are mountains in the distant places, seas in the hollow places, and continents, islands in the flat places. Then are these beings make use of the essential humus. Gradually some become handsome and some ugly. The handsome ones despise the ugly ones. Owing to this contempt, an essential essential humus vanishes, and outgrowth from soil appears. Then that vanishes in the same way as the badala creeper appears. That too vanishes in the same way as the rice without red powder and husk that ripens without tilling appears, a clean, sweet-smelling rice fruit. Then vessels appear. They put the rice in the vessels, and then they put on the tops of the stones. A flame appears spontaneously and cooks it. And the cooked rice resembles jasmine flowers. It has no need of sauce or curry, since it has whatever flavor they want to taste. 51. As soon as they eat this gross food, urine excrement appear in them. These then wound orifices break open in them to let these things out. The male sex appears in the male, the female sex on the female, then the females brood over the males, and males over the females for a long time. Owing to this period of brooding, the fever of sense desire arises. After that, they practice a sexual intercourse. 419. For their overt practice of evil, they are censured and punished by the wise. So they build houses for the purpose of concealing the evil. When they live in houses, they eventually fall in with the views of the more lazy, and they make stores of food. As soon as they do that, the rice becomes enclosed in the rice powder and husk, and no longer grows again of itself in the place where it was reaped. They meet together and bemoan the fact. Evil has surely makes its appearance among beings, for formerly we were mind-made. And all this should be given in full in the way described in the Agana Sutra. 53. After that, they set up boundaries. Then some being takes a portion given to another, and after he has been twice rebuked, the third time he come to blow with the fist, cloths and sticks and so on. When stealing, censuring, lying, and resorting to sticks, etc., have appeared in this way, they meet together, thinking, suppose we elect a being who would reprove those who should be reproved, censure, those who should be censured, and banish those who should be banished, and suppose we keep him supplied with a portion of the rice. When beings had come to an agreement in this way, in this eon, firstly Blessed One himself, who was then the Bodhisattva, was handsomest, the most comely, the most honorable, and was clever and capable of exercising effort or restraint. Then they approach him, ask him who elected him. Since he was recognized samatha by the majority, Mahayana, he was called Mahasamatha, means honored by many. Since he was Lord of Hills, he was called Katyayana, warrior. Since he promoted others' good, Ranjati, righteously and equitably, he was a king. This is how he came to be known as these names. For the Bodhisattva himself and the first man concerned in any wonderful innovation in the world. So after the Katyaya circle had been established by making the Bodhisattva the first in the way, the Brahmins and the other castes were founded in due succession. 55. Herein, the period from the time of the great clouds heralding the eon's destruction up to the till of ceasing of the flames constitute one incalculable that is called contraction. Then that from the ceasing of the flames of the eon destruction up till the great cloud of rehabilitation, which reigns upon the 100,000 million world spheres, constitute the second incalculable that is called what supersedes the contraction. That from the time of great cloud of rehabilitation up till the appearance of the moon and sun constitute the third incalculable, and that is called expansion. That from the appearance of the moon and the sun up till the reappearance of the great cloud of the eon distraction is the fourth incalculable, and that is called what supersedes the expansion. These four incalculable makes one great eon. This firstly is how the reconstruction of fire reconstitute should be understood. The occasion when the eon is destroyed by water should be treated in the way already described, beginning first of all great clouds heralding the eon's destruction appears. There is this difference, however. While in the former case a second sun appeared in the case of the great clouds of of caustic water appears. At first the rain rains very gently, but it goes on to rain with gradually greater deluges, pouring down upon the 100,000 million world spheres. As soon as they are touched by the caustic waters, the earth, the mountains, etc., melt away, and the waters are supported all around by winds. The waters take possession from the earth up to the plane of second jhana. When they have dissolved away the three Brahma world there, they stood up in the Subhashita world. As long as any formed thing the size of an atom exists, they do not subside, but they suddenly subside and vanish away when all formed things have been overwhelmed by them. All beginnings with the upper sphere, upper space is all one with the lower space, and in a vast gloomy darkness is as already described, except that here the world begin its reappearance with the Abhasara Brahma world, and beings falling from the Subhakshita Brahma world are reborn in the place beginning Abhasara world. Herein the period from the time of the great cloud heralding the eon's destruction up till the ceasing of the eon destroying water constitute one incalculable, that from the ceasing of the waters up till the great clouds of rehabilitation constitute second incalculable, that from the great clouds of rehabilitation these four incalculable make up one great eon. This is how the destruction of water and reconstitute should be understood. We'll stop there. It's talking about the eons of expansion and contraction.
What page is that?
That's 461, paragraph 58. My eye is contracting. Span of my eye is contracting, so we'll stop there. Okay, thank you everybody. We will do the dedication of marriage that may have derived from expanding your mind and allowing the understanding of the concept of creation remaining and the distractions of eon, let alone and incalculable ones, in relation to the seven suns and four elements and so on. Om Bades Mere Me Hovakam Dadefa Mezege Honeze Mehale Pererabe Brode Ojano Batode Zenede Herenda Mahayana Dije Vadeva Mereda Havega Meho Bebe Gazdelez Tuhoda Mahayana Dije Kareja Manjuja Nuode Azama Rabadra Delaiwa Walowe Ahode Zamba Ajade Deke Ode Mere Mede Hexelembo Digida Tebe Verena Yeraza Veras Bembo Meting Freely Vedadi Generation. Thank you.
Thank you.